For the first time in a decade, the New England Patriots did not clinch a first-round bye. Now watch them still win the Super Bowl. Grassy Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packcast, the podcast where we don't do a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom Grassi, and today what we're going to be doing is ranking the 6 AFC playoff teams for your 2019-2020 season. But before we get to that, I want to do a big shout out and thank you to everyone who has donated over to the Can Do Canines fundraiser. That's going on GoFundMe right now. We are attempting to name a dog Aaron for a Minnesota charity. They do great work. They provide service dogs for people with disabilities, childhood autism, and a litany of other challenges that these people face. After a Minneapolis newspaper decided to throw a little shade at Aaron Rodgers getting injured, also a video showing on Monday night displaying or highlighting the injury to Aaron Rodgers from Anthony Barr a couple years ago, we decided instead of throwing some more negativity in the world to donate to a great cause, and there's a little jab back there by naming one of the service dogs Aaron. So we've already raised nearly half the funds for that, so the link is in the description down below, and thank you for donating to such a great cause. Now, let's get down to it. Starting with number 6. And before we even get into like these actual numbers here, I want to say that these next 3 teams literally can probably be swapped in any which way. I was contemplating just tying all of them, but there's slight little differences that I can see one team being worse than the other. So number 6, you have the 9-7 Tennessee Titans. And this is such an intriguing team because they obviously have Derrick Henry, who's one of the best running backs in football today. The guy even stole the rushing title from Nick Chubb. They have the talent to make a run. Ryan Tannehill, when he's on with guys like A.J. Brown. They had that their tight end is even doing pretty well. It's that defense in which there's a lot of question marks with that. They need to step up. But especially the teams that they're going against, I think the Titans actually have a really good shot at beating the Patriots because they are a very run-heavy team. Now, the question is can they get it done in big games, right? So they lost against the Saints, they lost against the Texans 2 weeks ago when they weren't resting their starters. And my concern with the Titans is that they're a good football team, but they aren't a great football team yet. And so with that, I mean, the Titans, I feel like when they do make the playoffs, they're out in the wild card, and that's pretty much it. They obviously have a tough test going up against New England in the first round, but that being said, I think the Titans have what it takes to at least beat the Patriots, and then from there, again, who knows what could happen with this team, but yeah, the Titans, they just haven't done enough to prove to me that they can actually beat the really great teams of the AFC, and that's exactly what they're going to have to do if they want to make a run for it. Then number 5, you got the 10-6 Buffalo Bills. Bills, if only you beat the Patriots, you could have won the NFC East. The Dolphins just did the work for you. Ryan Fitzmagic, all of that. But yeah, they have a favorable matchup against the Texans. I think they match up really well with them. Their defense is great. Their offense is concerning. Obviously, Devin Singletary is great. He's had a great season. But Josh Allen can be hot and cold, and their entire success is literally revolving around Josh Allen for better or for worse. Now, they're similar to the Texans and Titans when it comes to their talent or lack thereof balance. But again, the question comes up is, can they beat the great teams? They can compete with the Patriots. They can compete with the Ravens, as they have shown throughout the regular season. But can they beat them? And that's going to be the difference maker here. And I think the Bills, with their defense, provide a little bit more of a challenge than the Titans do. And so that's why they're a little bit of a step ahead. And then finally, you have the number 4 team, the Houston Texans, who are 10-6. And by finally, I mean these are the 3 teams that we know, they literally can go anywhere. Now, speaking of inconsistent teams, the Houston Texans, yeah, they're such a weird team, right? Deshaun Watson is great. DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, that's another name there. I mean, again, but they get into shootouts with really bad teams, get blown out by the Ravens, they lose to the Broncos, and then they beat the Patriots. This is the epitome of inconsistency with this team. Now, they could get J.J. Watt to return for the wildcard game, which would definitely bolster up that defense, but they're another huge question mark. If they can beat the Bills, Are they going to be able to beat the Chiefs or the Ravens? I mean, that's the million-dollar question here. I don't think that they match up well with either team. Obviously, they played the Chiefs earlier this year, but the Chiefs are a little bit of a different team now, and they're a little bit more explosive. That defense is a little bit better, and they're going to have to be playing at Arrowhead again. I mean, it's possible, but when you put up a team like with the Ravens and the Texans, I don't see the Texans getting past them. But, the explosiveness that they can have on offense, and if the return of J.J. Watt actually occurs, I think they are a little bit of a step ahead, the number 5 and number 6 team. Then the number 3 team, you got your 12-4 New England Patriots. Yep, first time in a decade without that first round bye. Now, I mean, the concerning thing is not that they didn't get a bye. It's that they were in the hunt for it. All they had to do was beat the Dolphins, and they couldn't do that. Their defense could not cover Devontae Parker at all. Allowed Fitzmagic to just be like, hey, we're going to go up and down the field now. And the offense didn't look great either. Tom Brady struggled yesterday, and that's kind of been the story of this season. The offense has not been able to get on the same page. The offense has been struggling. They're not really able to establish wide receivers. Obviously, they got N'Keal Harry, who has been a big help, but Julian Edelman has been dealing with injuries. There's a number of issues that they have. Sanu hasn't panned out as much as they wanted him to. And so I would put them lower than like maybe one of these other 3 teams, but they have the experience. They have Bill Belichick, and they still have Tom Brady. And the last time that I underestimated Tom Brady and the Patriots, they win Super Bowls. So yeah, they're sitting at number 3 right now, but there's a good chance that either 1, they lose to the Titans, or 2, they get smacked around by the Chiefs. But you can't go to sleep on them yet because God, they always just find a way. Then sitting at number 2, you have the number 2 seed, Kansas City Chiefs at 12-4. They took care of business with the Chargers and clinched that first round bye, which is great because Arrowhead is a very difficult place to play for opposing teams. And they're in a great position to get to the AFC Championship game. From there, we might see a complete and total battle. But the offense is clicking. They had the running game going yesterday. They had the special teams going yesterday. And, I think the Chiefs are one of those teams that they can compete with anyone in the AFC. I think they could beat the Patriots. I think that they've shown. And I think that they would be a really intriguing matchup against the Ravens. I think they would challenge them in a number of different ways. Now, the only question is someone going to ruin it by jumping off sides again? That's the one thing. But yeah, no, the defense, is it like a flash in a pan kind of thing, or are they actually shown progress and have gotten better? That's what we're going to need to see come later in these playoffs. But right now, the Chiefs get a bye week, and I think that they definitely could make a run for the Super Bowl this year. Then, of course, you got the number 1 team. They've been number 1 on my top 10 rankings for weeks and weeks, and that's the 14-2, number 1 seed, Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, even their backups are damn good. RG3 is just like, oh yeah, remember when I could play football? Yeah, they're obviously hoping that Ingram is able to return from injury for the divisional round. That would be a huge help from them. But they are poised to make a Super Bowl run. They are my Super Bowl favorites here. And, with them getting home field advantage, it's going to be very difficult for a team to actually come in and beat them because I think they're the most well-balanced team in football. That defense is punch you in the mouth. They might give up a lot of points in some games. And, going up against some of these high-caliber offenses like the Chiefs, that could pose some problems, but the defense does enough to get it done and make opposing quarterbacks' lives miserable. That's what they did against the Bills. And on top of that, their offense is one of the most explosive in football. And so you have Lamar Jackson, who obviously is like setting records. The guy is amazing. He beat you with your legs, beat you with the arms, doesn't matter. And they have the running game to back it up. Any weakness they have, it might be in some of the receivers, but they show that they can get it done as well. So I think that this team overall is a very balanced football team. And I think that when it comes to defenses, they have one of the best ones that is in the AFC and NFC, to be completely honest. And I think they have exactly what it takes to win a championship. It's just a matter of, can they just put together 2 consistent games to get there? And they've pretty much shown consistency all season, after they lost to the Browns. And so this is a team that, I think are heavy Super Bowl favorites, and I would not be surprised if they're hoisting the Lombardi Trophy or at least getting to the big dance by the end of it. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. What are your rankings for the AFC playoff contenders this year? Let me know what you think. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at Tom Grossi Comedy, all social media see down below. Check out Patcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and of course the YouTube. And a big shout out and thank you all the Patreon members are at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grassi. And as always, go Pack Go.